Hey, Kenny, are you able to tag them or anything? Do you know names? Okay, thank you. Just making sure.
And take your cue, Justin. You going to count down?
Sure, go ahead.
All right. Tyson, just go off Justin's cue. It can be rough.
So basically, you're ready?
We're rolling whenever you're ready.
And welcome to You Have Real Estate with me, attorney Justin Clark. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, seasoned investor, or looking to sell your home, this next 30 minutes is designed just for you. Think of like hitting multiple open houses, all from your living room, but with my attorney advice throughout the way. If you have any questions whatsoever, I have people standing by right now, 407-205-0400. If you're looking to start that house hunt this weekend, if you're looking for the dream home, Dallas Lehman with You Have Mortgages standing by to get you pre-qualified, because no one's going to go show you houses until you get that pre-qualification letter. Dallas is standing by right now, 407-205-0400. Awesome show for you today, but first it's time for my opening statement. I get this question all the time. Justin, I'm thinking about selling my house, but I don't want to give all the profits to the IRS. Do you have to pay taxes when you sell a house? Well, the question's a little bit more complicated than you might think. We're going to answer that question also. We talk all the time here about a real housing crisis that we have. It's just too expensive. I mean, for the regular family right now to rent a home is virtually impossible. Well, we have a company here in Central Florida that their mission is to solve that problem. We'll tell you all about that as well. But first, I was so scared this morning because it's getting hot again. And I was like, oh, here we go with the electricity bill. I forgot something. I forgot that IQ Power Solar has installed solar at my house. I don't care how hot it gets anymore because my electricity bill is going to be $30 or $40. Stephen Bader with IQ Power Solar tells us how. And now it's time for real questions. Every week here on You Have Real Estate, we ask real questions to the truly trend-setting people in Central Florida's real estate community. Today on the show, I have Paul Kidder and Jessica Allen with Randall Construction. And we also have Brian Fay from attorneys Justin Clark. And sounds familiar, I know. From the law firm, who's a tax accountant. He's going to answer all of your IRS questions as well. Let me start with you guys. Paul, Jessica, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Great. Thanks
Doing
for having
great.
us.
So
Doing great.
Randall Construction, right? You recognize the problem, obviously, in this market. And the problem is, first of all, it's hard to hire anyone to work in the construction business right now because there's so much going on. So projects are taking forever. But I think you've also recognized that the rental market is completely and totally out of control. And to your credit, you recognize this, I think, before really anyone else did. What are you guys doing about those issues?
Absolutely. So we have a bunch of different projects, different types of products that we're developing. And I think as far as most of the construction industry, we do a lot of R&D. So what our wall and building system does is able to get builders, multifamily, mostly 6-story, about 120 units, quicker to market, getting projects done quicker. Usually we can save about 3 to 4 months, and then we have a pod system that is basically a complete bathroom or kitchen that we can save another 45 days. So it's that lead to market, plus that need for the labor force. So the labor force, it takes that out of the field, and we can control it better in the manufacturing facility.
We're really looking to partner with those owners, developers, and GCs who are looking to cut down their time to build those affordable family housing units. When they bring us in on the project, what they're doing is they're really bringing in an expert who can get rid of the traditional stick build. And again, as Paul mentioned, cut down on our time to build, which is going to allow families to move into that building at an affordable rate much faster than if you were using the traditional building process currently.
Yeah, you're not the kind of person, you're not the business that someone would call and they want to get their bathroom remodeled. That's not you. In fact,
Right.
that general contractor is actually your customer or your
Correct.
client. But
Right.
you've really had to go in and talk to these contractors and change their thought process of how construction really works. How have you done that?
Exactly. So in Randall, we have 14 divisions of self-performing. We have about 1,300 employees. and we try to incorporate the whole construction process in our company, so we can take care of about 80% of the building, which, classically, GCs don't like to put all that responsibility on a subcontractor, but I think they're starting to see the ways and the benefit of having all that under one roof, really being a partner rather than just being a subcontractor on the project.
Right. What we've tried to do is really diversify the business model so it's less risk for the builder, but what they're really getting out of that experience when they work with Randall is a one point of contact, a single source of responsibility, and someone who's been in the industry for over 30 years knows what we're doing and knows how to really expedite the whole building process for that GC. What we're doing is lowering general conditions and giving them a really kind of mitigated risk operation.
And if you're a developer or general contractor and you're just used to doing things the same way we've been doing it since the Flintstone days,
Right.
I mean, give Randall a call. I'll hook you up with them directly,
Absolutely.
407-205-0400. I was downtown this weekend, almost got run over by scooters and things, And by the way, these scooters are not to get from point A to point B. They like doing wheelies on them and things. I think it's a party down there, these scooters. I mean,
My 11-year-old just wants to jump on one as soon as we get downtown.
Yeah.
Every time.
But we know that a lot of the millennials do want to move downtown, but we've got rental rates downtown of $1,700, $1,500 at least a month for a regular old one-bedroom apartment. Now, my understanding is Orlando sort of the next place we're going to over by scooters?
I have not.
Do you know what I'm
I
talking
have
about,
boys
though?
at home, so I've been
Okay.
a couple times I've been run over, but it's only at my house, never downtown. Sorry for your luck.
Yeah.
So when we were talking about micro apartments, again, we're addressing the housing issue here. There's not enough space in the downtown area to put full size and get as many people in as we're looking to get in. So the next generation is really going to be micro apartments where we can have full amenity. You've got some neighbors, you've got some people you can go up and spend some time in your spa pool, or as we like to call it, spool, at the top of the roof, a workspace, a type of environment where you can leave your home and go down in the same building and have a place where you can do your job and enjoy all that you have in the downtown area. So we really are looking into, as we start to craft prefabricated modular systems at Randall, ways that we can put an entire bathroom and kitchen together on our site, put that together at a micro apartment level, and again, record timing, get an entire building built up to accommodate what's needed in downtown Orlando moving forward.
And then how big are these typically, you said?
So the micro apartments, they're basically a large hotel room with a kitchenette and a bathroom, ranging between 400 and 600 square foot. So they're not huge.
Sure.
But, when I got out of college and went into the workforce and started being a professional, a young professional, I didn't want to stay at home and cook and entertain. And, so these micro apartments allow that space to entertain and work, and also be able to come and go as you please, really.
Enjoy the downtown
not really
area with their
maintain at home.
Yeah. I mean, I know a ton
Hop on
of
a scooter and go.
Yeah, I mean, I know a ton of people who lived in studio apartments, even in downtown Orlando now. It's kind of a similar concept, but more of an apartment than a studio, I think. It's just around the same size. I mean, I think it's a great idea, but the real shocking part is how quickly you guys are able to put those up. And I was watching a TV show the other day. It was, look, I'm a loser. I have two little kids. I watch the dumbest stuff. I was watching a show about building a cruise ship, okay? I don't know why, but I was watching it. Just don't judge me. But when they build this cruise ship, they literally will like put in the rooms. They're already built,
Exactly.
and they put them right in there on all the different levels. Is
Plug
that a
and
similar
play.
concept?
Basically a similar concept. So a lot of time is spent up front with the site development, and while that site development is happening, I mean, that's probably 50% of the construction build time is the site development. So while that's happening, we can be building or prefabricating walls, bathrooms,
Exactly.
kitchens. So when it's time, we just stack them up. It's basically kind of like the Lego system. You stack them up, you hook them all together, and it really, speed to market is just incredible.
And we're not limited by where the current building is at and what phase that is. We've already begun production in the background, and we just ship it to site and load it up.
We had, back in 2008, 9, 10, we do a lot of bankruptcy at my law firm. We had a lot of construction people in my office filing bankruptcy. There wasn't a lot of work going around then. What's the labor market like now in construction?
So labor market now is, there's a huge shortage in skilled
Absolutely.
labor.
Nationwide.
Another aspect is in estimating. not so much as project management, but there's still a need in project management, but in estimating. People don't even realize that a lot of these budgets and everything, you have to have estimators to get into and establish a budget before we can even build something. So that's a big shortage. There's a couple schools locally that have been answering that shortage. So it's really exciting to be in the construction industry at this time, especially being through the 2008, 2009 downfall. It's very rewarding right now to be in the construction industry.
Yeah, and one of the things that we have recognized is using our prefabrication, using precast systems, we're able to avoid any negative impact from a labor shortage because what we're doing is taking a traditional building site, we're removing scaffolding, we don't need as many laborers, we need a crane, a couple of guys, and we can install our product fairly quickly. Again, we're lowering risks. You don't have a ton of unskilled laborers who maybe didn't get the appropriate training. So we're eliminating a lot of our risk there. And another thing that Randall is doing is we're becoming a community partner with the Orange County Public School System, and we're going to be an alternative site for high schoolers coming up because we're really invested in the next generation of construction workers and people who, it's really not just swinging a hammer and a nail anymore. There's a lot of technology jobs that are out there, estimating jobs that we need the next generation to be fully prepared for. So,
Are we hiring now?
absolutely.
every day.
I mean, look,
Absolutely.
if you're looking for a job in the construction industry, I can't think of a better place to start or continue your career. Randall Construction, 407-205-040. What's that? Kenny asked if you drug test. I'm just kidding. He didn't. I could kind of hear him telepathically asking me. Paul Kidder, Jessica Allen, Randall Construction.
Yeah.
Excellent job today.
Thank
now,
you.
Paul, you're going to stick around for the real estate roundtable, I hope, right? So,
Absolutely.
Jessica, I'm going to say bye to you.
Thank you for
Excellent
having
job.
me.
You guys have to come back. This was great.
Absolutely, anytime.
You got it. So,
definitely. Thanks for having us.
You got it. So we're going to bring in Brian Fay now. Brian's a tax accountant at Attorneys Justin Clark and Associate. He's excellent at what he does. Now, Paul, I want to be very clear with you, buddy.
Nope.
I did not bring the tax guy on because I think you have tax issues. All right, so don't read into this at all, please.
Yeah,
okay?
we were talking back and talking about taxes and equity and stuff like that. So very knowledgeable.
Yeah,
very knowledgeable.
no doubt about it. And Brian, welcome to the show, buddy. First time here, I think, right?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
We have a lot of real estate agents that watch this program, as you probably know. Real estate is a 1099 business. Any advice for my realtor friends how they should handle their taxes throughout the year?
Well, a lot of realtors and all 1099 employees or contractors usually run into problems come tax time, and it's usually because they don't hold or pay estimated tax payments throughout the year. And then at the end of the year, then it's time to settle up with the IRS, and then then they're in some trouble.
I mean, what should I do? Should I check in with the IRS quarterly, or should every time I get a closing check, should I take money out? Any advice on how I don't get myself in trouble?
Yeah, you know how much money you make throughout the year when you get a closing check. You should know, depending on your tax bracket, 15-25% of that should be, stored away, saved away for the IRS.
Hey, let's get to filing tax returns now, because if you ever listen to my radio show, you know how I feel about the pop-up tax preparer. It's the place that pops up in the strip mall, and then they mess something up in April. When you file, you go back in October, and they're selling Halloween costumes at that point, or you go at Christmas time and they're selling Christmas trees because they're only there for a couple months. I mean, Brian, this is a little bit dangerous when you're doing one of the most important financial aspects of your year to trust a pop-up store in a strip mall.
Yeah, absolutely. And think about all of the information that you give to these people. They have your social security number, you have your bank account information, where what daycare your children go to. You give all this information to just some random person. You have to be really careful about who you're giving your information to, and there's no coincidence of tax preparation.
Yeah, exactly. If you have any issues with the IRS, please don't bury your head in the sand, because they can actually kind of lull you to sleep. They might not fine you for a year, 2 years, even 3 years, but at some point they will find you. And here's what happens. You don't pay American Express. They have to sue you, come knock on your door, get a judgment. The IRS, they just have to send you a letter, and then they take money out of your account, and then they take money out of your paycheck. So it's time to get ahead of your IRS problems. Please call Brian Fay, 407-205-040. 0400. But Brian, you don't just deal with problems. I mean, you handle returns and things as well, like any other accountant, right?
Yeah, of course.
But but we work together at a law firm, so I imagine that your prices must be way more expensive than the pop-up store that's going to be a Halloween costume later, right?
No, actually not. We have similar prices to where you would go to, if that any type of big tax preparation, company you would go to.
I've always thought that tax day for W-2 employees is like February 1st, right? Because they've had money taken out all year, and they want to file right away. Tax day for self-employed people is October 15th, basically.
Exactly.
Tell me about this automatic extension, and do I get punished for using it?
Well, it's an extension to file your tax return. It's not an extension to pay. So even if you don't file your tax return until October 15th, which would be the last day to file, if you file for an extension, you're still going to be penalized if you don't pay come April 15th.
Gotcha. All right, now let's go to, this is a real estate show, obviously. So a lot of people watching are thinking about selling their home. Mm-hmm. And one of the things they have to go through in their head is, well, do I have to? What does it depend on?
If it's your primary home, typically you're allowed an exception to how much you have to pay taxes on a particular gain. Isn't always the case. It depends on how long you lived in the home, if it was inherited or you purchased it, when you purchased it. Depends on several different factors.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think, Paul? How do you see the real estate market? Let's say I'm thinking about selling my house now, and now Brian Faye's told me that I don't have to worry about taxes because it's my primary home. You think now is a good time to sell, or do you see it going up, down, steady? What do you think?
I think right now is the best time for sellers. Sellers, buyers, it's a seller's market, and there's not that much inventory out there. So right now, sellers, I don't foresee it going anywhere. I mean, the housing shortage is going to be a need.
The size of Orlando's created. I mean, it's a hot place to be. We have no state income taxes. So, I mean, I'm pretty aggressive on Florida and investing in Florida. And I think the real estate market here probably is not going to continue rates where they are. You can virtually every time now pay less for your mortgage than you would for rent. So that's why I think it's a good time to buy. But, Brian, that leads me to the next question. It's the whole dichotomy of the self-employed person, right? They go talk to Dallas Lehman at You Have Mortgage and say, well, I made $200,000 last year. They're self-employed. And maybe they did. And then he says, let me see your tax qualify for a mortgage. How do you help people balance those two?
Well, I think the biggest part of it is just record keeping and how good you keep your books throughout the year. You want to keep written proof of everything, obviously, but obviously that's time consuming. A lot of people don't do that, but when it's come time to prepare your taxes, especially when you're looking to get a mortgage, it's important to really look at your bank account and make sure that everything aligns with that.
If you need to prepare your taxes this year, if you want to do it now, please call Brian Faye 407-205-0400. I assure you, you file your taxes with him. If there's any issue in October, he will not be selling Jason Mask in October. It will still be a law firm. It'll still be an accounting firm. Isn't that right? No Jason Mask.
No Jason Mask.
Thank goodness for that. Now, Brian, you're going to stick around for the Real Estate Roundtable, I hope. Right?
Absolutely.
And now, without further ado, it is your part of the program. It's time for the Real Estate Roundtable. Every week here on You Have Real Estate, we answer your questions from throughout the week. All you have to do is go to our Facebook, You Have Real Estate, and you can ask me questions directly right there. And we just might answer your question next week here on You Have Real Estate. All right, let's go up to DeLand. It's Milo in DeLand. I'm thinking about buying a modular home. How do you think modular affects the value? Paul, what do you think?
So there's a different classification of modular rather than what it used to. I think the building industry is becoming modular, more prefab, which we call modular. But it does affect the value of the home. If it's a classic modular with the panel walls and not traditional construction, there is some value. But as far as a modular building, A modular building structure is as sound as a traditional construction building structure. So, and in some places, in some aspects, maybe a little bit more built up a little bit for the storms and code changes and all that kind of stuff.
Let's try to figure this out together. So I think we all know what a mobile home is, right?
Yes.
I mean, we see the mobile home parks and that sort of thing. Then we kind of have in our head what a modular home is as well, which I think, at least me, I think of it as a mobile home that seems like more of a pain to move. But I think we've gotten a little bit more aggressive and made the modular home much closer to a regular home. Is that's what I'm hearing, right?
Absolutely. With the don't want to say high end finishes, but with the higher end finishes, the drywall rather than paneling, it's a standard home. It's just put together in sections. So there's a bunch of companies that do it now, and I think they're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Great job, and it's a lot quicker than a traditional
So
block and brick.
current day modular home, how many pieces, so to speak, would that normally come in?
Typically, you see, you're usually limited on the size.
Right.
So you only get 12 foot by like 56 foot. So usually it comes in about 3 pieces. And then you put it together, it kind of clips in together, and you have hurricane straps and all different types of hardware.
So let's say I'm building a 2,500 square foot house from scratch. How long does that take generally?
Traditional construction,
Yeah.
you're looking probably 6 months.
And modular home?
Modular home, you're probably looking 90 days.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So at least half the time.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Pretty crazy.
We're trying, I see a show that's like 90-day builds.
Yeah.
I've built a 30-day model before. So I think a very good build time and what it should be standard is, 45, 60 days.
Got it. All right, Jason in Orlando. Jason, thank you for the questions. He says he watches on Facebook. Love the show. I'm selling my primary home, and I should make $90,000. Do I have to pay capital gains? Brian Fay, what do you think?
Typically, you would not have to because of the exclusion. Whether he was single or married, it would fall if he has $90,000 in gains. Then it should be excluded from your income, but it depends on a couple other factors as far as how long he's lived in the home for and a couple other things.
What about a second home? I have a beach house. I want to get rid of it. Am I protected in that as well, or do I have to pay taxes on those gains?
That's an investment property like that. You would pay taxes on that. You would pay typically capital gains tax. Unless you own the property for less than a year, then it would be short-term capital gains, which are normally equal to your ordinary tax bracket.
Gotcha. Samantha up in Marion County. I have property in the woods, and I want to build a new home, but it takes too long. Any other ideas? Paul?
Modular,
Yeah.
pre-manufactured homes. There's some metal building systems out there that you can buy, just kits that come up, and there's a bunch of very qualified professionals that can build those for you. In the custom home market, they're getting more prefabs as well.
Yeah.
So if you think it's going to take too long, just do some research, look online. There's some house kits out there that'll take a whole lot less time, probably half the time as traditional.
And it looks like a traditional build anymore, right?
Yeah,
I mean, they make them look great. There's no doubt
Yeah.
about it. All right, Kenny in Oviedo says, how safe is Credit Karma to do my taxes? What do you think? I didn't even know. I did know this, actually, just recently. Credit Karma, you're supposed to go there, and it tells you what your credit score is now. Mm-hmm. Well, you can buy boats and do tax, all sorts of things on this Credit Karma now. They're doing taxes. What do you think?
I didn't even know they were doing taxes.
They are. I mean, I feel like maybe they should keep to credit scores, but hey.
Yeah, that's what I was literally thinking.
A job in construction, how choosy can I be right now?
You can be very choosy. Very choosy. I mean, there's a limited amount of skilled labor out there. Like I said, estimating before is a very good profession to go into. But companies are hiring. Everyone's hiring. The construction industry is going crazy right now.
Paul Kidder, Randall Construction. Excellent job today.
Thank you.
Please tell Jessica I said hello and she did great as well.
Will do.
Brian Fay is here to do any tax return or handle your tax issues. Also, thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Good to see you. But most importantly, thank you for joining me here today. If you're looking to sell your house, or if you have any questions about anything we talked about today, or you need to get pre-approved for that house hunt, you know the phone number, 407-205 0400. Thanks for joining me. I'm attorney Justin Clark, and I'll see you here next week for another edition of You Have Real Estate. Good job, boys.